So someone commented on my previous video with regards to learning how to use EG nodes. So I'm gonna do my basic rundown of using it. It's pretty deep and there's a lot you can use it for and do, but I'm just gonna show you how I do it or what I use it for primarily. So I'm gonna start with a new project. So when you start with a new project, you'll get these 8 options. Note and chord. Hold on one second because this mic is driving me crazy. Okay, thank you, thank you. I'm just gonna remove that. I was trying to put a gate on it to duck background noise, but whatever. All right, back to what we are talking about. So you have these different nodes that you can choose from. Note and chord, obviously it is what it is. You know, it's going to be notes and chords. Look at it. You punch one in, it'll ask you which instrument, grab it, and then you can select the note in the chord range and the amount of bars that you want to do, right? So if I pick like this one, you'll see it comes up, right? And there's your play. And then you can pick and use their template for chords. So let's say if you want a C major 7, and then you toggle it on, and it's going to play a repetitive until you change to the next one, right? Then you can do inversions. And then you can change the bar. Maybe I have to stop it to do that. It's not letting me. And like anything, you have solo, mute, right? This is your pan, left or right. This is your volume. After you put your instrument in, right beneath it, this plus allows you to pick an effect that you want. Then you have scenes that you can build. So you could have one scene that has one chord or whatever you want to put on it, and then you can make the next scene different. When you want to use MIDI, you can see you have MIDI. And if you have a controller, your MIDI in, you just select it like that. Pretty simple. All right. You can expand the node and then look to the side and add in a slider or XY pad. Or if you don't really need that, you just probably leave that alone. And then you can add mixed groups. So let's say you have a kick, a snare, a hat, a percussion thing on separate tracks, but you want them to be a part of a mixed group that you can add certain things to that one group, kind of like a return in Ableton Live if you use Ableton. That's basically what it is, right? Being able to do that. Let's talk about holding. If you hold your finger down, I should be using the mouse. I apologize. Let's do that again. Hold your finger down. You can rename the node, change the color. See, there's the colors. Hold it down. You can duplicate it, save it, delete it. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Now let's say you want to bring a MIDI effect like tonality, chord pads. So now you can move this node if you want. Well, as soon as I turn that off, you should be able to, it's right here. Why is it not doing it with my mouse? It's not letting me move it for some reason. But usually you can move it. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I must be grabbing the wrong spot. And adjust which where it's going to be. But anyway, let me show you the routing. So let's say you want tonality. You need to toggle these on. But let's say in tonality, I'm just going to pick some chords. Doesn't really matter. You want the routing done, right? So you'll pick this one right here. And then you'll tell where you want in. So you see the MIDI, so you'll put the MIDI effect there. And then when you click this one, it's just like AUM. you tell it to go there, right? Got it? Pretty simple, right? So that's what your MIDI effects is gonna do for you. Again, you can change the color, rename it, etc. Whatever you want to do. All right. If you want to, is it right click? No, it's not working there. You want to delete, hold it down, delete the node. I'm going to leave this one up just in case no, I'll take it down because I don't really. All right. The sequence, let's go to the arpeggio one. We'll use the same one. Doesn't really matter. So here again, you can pick the range, whether you want it to go up. See right here, directions. You have directions. Or you can hit this dice and randomly pick one, right? And then when you hit play, it's going to arpeggiate this note. I guess I should turn it on. See? You can adjust the speed. This reminds me of Drumbo, because Drumbo you can adjust the speed. You have a swing. If you want it to swing, just you hear it swinging. You want to go random or do your inverts. This is kind of fun to just be able to just do random. But if you know what chords you want. And I think Elliot did a great job on giving you a variety of chord extensions and things. And by the way, you can hit the plus and move down the keyboard to different octaves, right? So these arrows will move you, down different octaves. Okay, so pretty cool. All right, let's get rid of that. Same principle, rename, change the color, save the node, duplicate the node. I'm gonna delete in this instance. All right, sequencer. Pick one. Make sure you turn the toggle on right here, okay? And then in this one, you have a box down here and you're gonna sequence it. So you have to pick the scale. So let's say I'm gonna just use minor. And then I'm gonna use, pick the note that you wanna start here. Let's just use C. That's F. See how it tells you the notes you're picking as you move up and down? And you can listen to them or you cannot. If you don't want to listen to them, you just turn them off. All right, so now let's see what I came up with. I just randomly stuck them in there. Oh, by the way, it does random. So, boom, which I love random stuff. I just really do. All right, here we go. Click random again. Okay, I'm gonna show you something now. All right, so that's cool. Watch this. So in this little box where it says control the notes, it's stuck on this one note right now. Sorry, let me stop it. This is where the panic button comes in. Oh Lord. Sorry, let me do this. Hold on. Where's the panic button? I can never remember where the panic button is for some reason. Alright, we're just gonna you're just gonna keep going, huh? Let's mute you. Okay. Alright, I wanted to show you this. So velocity, you can change, or you can change the probability of something going, or the frequency, or even randomize that, right? Or even hold or chords. So if you put it on randomize and then click randomize, it's randomizing everything in the background, right? Should randomize I think it's randomizing it. All right, now hit random again. Oh, I got it on mute. All right, so click here. adjust or want to do something different. So it's really crazy random stuff. So you're picking which chord you want that note to hit. So you can do chords. And then hit random again. It's going to randomize everything. You can create some crazy stuff, bro. Like, seriously. Alright, let's stop that. So that's your sequencer. It's basically like a well, that sounds stupid. It's definitely a sequencer. That's what it is. So just like any other sequencer you use, you have to learn how to use it and figure out what works for you. Okay, rhythm. So rhythm, let's put this one in. Just something different. Toggle it on. If you click here, you'll see you have random steps. Now, he took the time to MIDI map certain things. So here's splat to clat, chord, clevgran. So if you're using something from clevgran, it's probably better to be on clevgran. You hear how the note. So you could make you a little sequence, or as I like to do, just hit random. I'm just putting random notes in and hit play. Hey, for this one. Then you got the ratchets in here, so you can like for the triplets if you want. I'm feeling that. Change the. I'll put it back in. I'm not gonna do that. That's great. Same principle. You got the velocity, probability, and frequency. So if you don't want like this note to happen all the time, maybe skip a few of these notes. This is fun though. Like seriously fun. And you're randomizing whatever one you clicked on. Right. So you have to. I forgot how you do the clicking. Let me stop. My brain's drawing blanks here on how you switch. I'll have to remember that later because my brain's not remembering it. Oh, right here. I think this is it right here. So whatever note you're on, that's the note is randomizing. So I think if you touch here, yeah. So if you hold this little box here where my mouse is, hold it, and then pick a line, then you hit randomize. That's how you do it. And it'll randomize that line. And so now you come up with these cool little rhythms. And then you adjust per line, per note. I should say note, but I'm calling it a line. Hey. Fun, right? Because you can make some cooler rhythms. So that's rhythm. And, you know, the same principle applied with the, I'm not going to tell you that anymore. You guys know that by now. All right, piano roll is probably the one I use the most, and especially with chords. I prefer this over using the chords that's built in here just because I like to play it and I want to see my MIDI notes. I'll just pick something. Give me 1 second to find the user banks here. Dimensions, course. All right, whatever. All right, so toggle it on, click into the track, and you can see here you can either place the notes, you can lock the scale. Now, if you're going to do that, I highly suggest pick a scale up here, and you see it has a bunch of scales in here. So pick your scale for your track when you're first starting out. If you keep it on chromatic, it's obviously going to be used chromatic, so you can leave it off. You can set the bars. That's one thing I hope that I think he'll add in the future is just let us play and let it kind of cut off wherever you last played, like we have in Drumbo and Ableton Note. Currently, though, at the time of filming this video, you have to pick the bars that you want. So it is what it is. All right, so how do you select? You'll see right here, if you click with a pencil icon, now you can select, right? If you have a pencil, it's just drawing and notes. This is so you can listen, and then snap is exactly what it is. It's snapping into the grid like a 16th, an eighth, These are the triplets in between, by the way, when you see 12, 24. If you don't want no grid, just turn it off. Then it won't snap to a grid when it plays. Otherwise, it's like quantize it for you. All right. Same principle. You got speed. You can slow some down. What I find about EG Nodes is it's almost like the best of a bunch of different apps. Like Drumbo has features that Drumbo has. It has certain features of its own that make its own unique thing about it. And certain characteristics of it kind of remind me of the AUM, right? Workflow. Man, I'm getting call after call. Sorry about that. That'll be a few more minutes. I'm gonna just show you guys. All right, so piano roll. So you can do toggle, trigger, or hold. I should show you that. I keep forgetting to show you that. Okay, toggle, trigger, or hold, whichever one you want. The bottom one section of this pad is to turn it on and off. The top can turn it on and off, but as soon as you touch where it says toggle, it'll change it, which is cool because if you want to trigger it, then it's more like live, right? Like you can trigger it, and of course you have solo mute. You can do those things too. All right, so little by little, again, if you want to add MIDI effects, you got to add a MIDI channel, just like AUM, right? AUM you have to add a MIDI channel to be able to do it. All right, that's probably the most used one for me is piano roll. I am going to start using some of the other ones too on here though, eventually. We went over rhythm. All right, generative is interesting. Let's pull it up. Let's use fractal bits, something different. Little weird sounds that I like, little bits of sound. Toggle it on. Okay. And then if you click in here, you'll see you can set the scale or the note, adjust the swing. You can either do a melody or harmony. And then, of course, the frequency of how it swings. So this is the one that's probably, that's your notes, by the way. That's probably the most confusing one to me. But it's generative. So it's going to take care of it itself. You don't have to really do it. That's why it's confusing. So set it what you want it. Swing. You can pick your start note that you want it on. Tell it a minor scale. Tell it the frequency. And then you should just hit play. This is probably not the best thing for a melody, but I mean. All right, so if you hold down this, let's say you want to replace it or delete it, you just hold it down and then you can replace it. Pretty simple. I'm going to put in, what am I going to put in? Let's try really quick. Oh, and I'll show you that feature in a second. So it's just picking random stuff because it's generating its own thing. Right. So if you just want something that just generates that, and all you have to do is pick these or what type of melody. If you want harmony, let's try harmony. That's actually kind of wild, but I like it for some reason. All right, cool. That's enough. You can get pretty wild with this stuff. Okay, let's get out of here and let's go to the next one. Delete that node. Okay, we've talked about MIDI effects. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. It is what it is. You set it up and then you link it to one of these others. All right, song node. Last one. After you've created a bunch of nodes, then in song node, you can go in and say hit one, drag one to here, drag, let's say you want 4 to be here, but you want 4 to play twice. This is like pocket operator vibes to me, where you picking how many times each sequence or each whatever it is going to play. So let's say 7 is your intro, hook. And then you're going back to 4 for the verse. You got a special fill part on that one. And then back to 7. You see what I'm doing? I'm just dropping it in. you can do this with the SP404 too, right? And you can turn it on and off right here. And of course you can rename or change the color, but you see what I'm doing? Just drag and drop what you want in the song node. And it's going to play, watch, in that order. These are all not, there's nothing on them so for you to hear, but see that? All right, cool. Now we come to the part that's the most struggle for me. And the part that most people want to know, I think. And I'm going to tell you why it's a struggle. It's because I don't really work like this on a normal basis. But let's say you have let's just pick a piano or something. We're going to pick something here. We're going to toggle it on. No. By the way, if you click at the bottom, it doesn't count in the toggle. The count in thing is for timing purposes, right? So if you just click at the bottom, if you just want to turn it on, this portion over here is for time, it's toggled, right? Okay, so let's say you have this. Let's go with a MIDI effects, and we'll use chord pads, boom. And then we'll toggle that on, and then we gotta link them, right? So you go in, you're gonna pick MIDI effects, you're gonna go to this one, and you're gonna pick piano roll, because it's going to the piano roll. So in order for the piano roll to work, to record, kind of if you've ever used Atom 2, you know how you have to go into the piano roll. I didn't mean to do that. To record and hit record, you pretty much have to do that here. Currently at this state, if he changes it later, it is what it is. All right, metronome. Just click it once to turn it on. If you hold it, you'll see you get auto start recording on MIDI in, stop recording on the bar in, right? And then you get a count in. I always set that to at least one bar, and you can adjust the sound of the metronome. All right, so let's say now you're set, you got your count in, you're ready to go, and you're gonna, I gotta get some chords in here. Hold on a second, just pick that. I'm gonna use my fingers, so disregard the mouse. All right, I'm gonna do something super simple. So you've already armed it to record. Now you just hit play and it'll count in. Oh. So it didn't pick up my chord because I still forgot to turn on the record. You have to turn the record on, like seriously. All right, let's do that again. That was bad. Hit stop. There you go. So you saw how it stopped at the chord or the bar. So here's the chords, or the chord. I only played one. Okay, so it recorded in. Pretty simple, right? So now if you play it, it's gonna do the count in. If you want to turn the metronome off, just turn it off. Right? All right. So that's pretty simple. Song mode, you would take this node, and this would be on this scene, right? Because that's the scene. If you hold down the scene, it'll say note scene saved. It saved it on this one though. I forgot that I wanted on this one. So here's where it confuses me, and I'll get the answer for this. I promise I will. And I'll update this. If I pick this scene, but the next scene, I don't want this same node to play, that's where I get confused. Because if I go in, oops, or let's say I go in, just add in a few notes, and I hit note scene saved, and I'm sorry I closed it out. I did that twice. That's terrible. All right, scene save. So when I go back to scene one, you'll notice it's not there. Those piano notes disappeared. So now, watch. Play. I'm going to play twice. I'm going to click down here. By the way, this is terrible what music I'm playing, but I'm just showing you. So it's that simple, and yet sometimes I still get confused. So I get it if you're confused, because I think I'm overcomplicating what is actually just meant to be super simple. By the way, I'm only doing one bar. You can make this as up to, what did he put in here? 12 bars? 16 bars right now, which is fine. I mean, let's be real. I mean, if you're trying to compose anything more than 16 bars in one node, I would say get a second node until he maybe makes it where it's like at least 32 to 64 bars or something in a node, I guess. But for right now, it's 16. It is what it is. You gotta accept that. But I think for most people that are making music on iPad, they're not trying to create a masterpiece, classical masterpiece on an iPad. They would probably go use a computer at that point. So just be mindful of that there are some limitations that may get better in time or improve. But for right now, that's where they're at, because it's made for making simple music, right? Yeah. All right. So you get that? Now, let's say you've done that too, and you want to bring your song mode in, and you want 1 to play, 2 to play, 1 to play twice, and then 2 to play. So now watch. Once you bring song node in, it automatically does it for you. So hit stop, and then hit play. It's supposed to, but I forgot to turn it on. User error. Yeah, so you have to turn it on. That kind of makes sense, right? All right, sorry about that. Here we go. So guys, you can make a full song in EG nodes, and like it's not complicated, it's not, and it has pretty much everything you need. The only thing it lacks that I really think maybe will come down the road is audio. So for now, what I do is I'll go like, if you're gonna use let's say you're gonna use Koala. Hold on a second. I'll grab the wrong node, so give me 1 second. There's, in the rhythm one, you can use Koala Sampler. Okay, yeah, we know that's you, Koala. Oh, you don't have to have the full screen, but I do like that now that he's added that full screen in. Turn the toggle on for it, and then Koala automatically comes up, right? By the way, he has other stuff in here, and I'm sure he's going to add more. Sugar Bites, Clevgran, Satala, which is cool, Digisticks, FAC, Drum Kit, his own stuff, Elliott Garage, Beat Scholar. So he's adding, and I'm sure he's going to put more in. But you guys see what I mean? So now if you want to go in Koala, and let's say you could do something. Well, see, there's nothing in Koala right now. I would have to put some, gotta put some sounds in. Here, I'll do something real quick. Okay, I'll take a hat. There we go, kicks. Okay, that's hidden. And snares, go back to the same one. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Oh, all right. Can the drummer have some? No, I'm just playing. All right, here's your hi-hat. I'm gonna turn my volume back on the hi-hats because I like them to be a little less in my face. All right, so let's go here. So this is mapped to C1, right? So go back in here. We're on C1. So remember what I was telling you, if you touch here, hold it, and then touch the next line. Now I'm gonna hit random. So if you hit the randomize, I don't usually randomize on those snares. I know I want my snare to hit the 2-4, but I'm gonna just show you what you could do. What's up, puppy? Put a little swing on this thing. This is one bar, literally. Okay, all right, so same principle. Touch there, next line, and then we're gonna go and randomize till you like something. I'm gonna try that, let's see. This one bar is gonna drive me nuts. You get the drift. You can program it in and step record. It's basically like having your own little step sequencer, and then you could use it that way, or you could play it in, right? Whichever one you want to do. Of course, if you want to adjust the velocities, so if you're on that track or that line, you're adjusting the velocities for the hats, right? So this is if you want to build the song in EG nodes. You could just use Koala as the sampler and sequence it in Koala if you want, if you prefer that. I'm just showing you what the options are. Hold it down, touch the next one. These are your snares. So I'm gonna make this first snare really low. Oops. Yeah, no, I did that right. And then bring these down, or that one at least down a little bit. All right, so down. I should have took the count off. Now you can adjust the kicks. So you get it? Touch the control thing, touch your other finger onto whatever line you want to be on that coincides with the actual Koala MIDI mapping, right? And then you can plug in the notes and use it as a step sequencer. You can adjust the steps if you just want to do like 8 steps in one, or 7, all the way down to 1 step. I don't know why in the world I would want to do 1 step. But anyway, that's not for me to figure out. Also, you have the probability. So you could adjust that if you want to do it. And you have your frequency. I don't fully get the frequency, I'll be honest, but whatever. I'm sure it's a valid reason it's there. I just don't know it. So this is EG nodes in a nutshell. Like literally in a nutshell. I mean, there's so much more you could do. You could, I mean, there's just a ton to talk about with it. There's a MIDI panic. It's right here. All right, cool. And then this button, if you don't know what this is, by the way, you can save your song. Let me show you this because this was confusing to me. So this little arrow slides, which I didn't do it right there. I'm gonna use my finger. And you can rename, you can save it, delete it, or share it, right? But you need to remember that you have to slide out to rename the project. The plus adds a project, and then this just closed that out. All right. And then I showed you tempos up here. One thing I would love to see is a tap tempo. I think he might be aware of that. I got to bring it up to him. I think I forgot to tell him. You do have time signatures, which is kind of cool for some people that want to do some off signature that's not 4/4. You can do some stuff like that. Let's see, what else? I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's about it. All right. So there you have it. That's EG Nodes, man. It's a great program. There's some MIDI mapability down here that I just showed you. And then if you touch here, you have some more settings that you can do, like show the sequencer notes, which I actually think should be on in mine. I don't know why I don't have it on. You could disable the level meters. The level meters will play here while you're adjusting the volume, so you can see that. Then there's some MIDI settings. I just shut that down by mistake. There's a mix down. So in the mix down, you can pick the rate you want, 16 or 24. And you can mix down individual tracks, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, you have Ableton Link. That's kind of known. There's an autosave feature in here, which is really nice. And then you have video tutorials and user manual right there at your access if you want to get deep and figure out some other cool things you could do. Obviously, he's going to grow this. This is like, I don't want to call it a DAW, but it's like I don't know what you want to call it, but it's sort of like a DAW in a way. I don't think that's what he would term it as. These two down here are your undo and redo, in case you mess up, which happens to me a lot. And then if you want to use this live, like I told you, this toggle up here, trigger and hold and toggle, you can do some live stuff with it, looping and etc., type vibes. And that's it. So EG Nodes, great program. More to come in it, I know for a fact. And definitely worth, I think it was $15 for it to get it. So yeah, I think that's what it is. Don't quote me. You have to check the App Store, because it could vary in different places. I don't know exactly who's watching or where you're watching from. All right, that's it. I'm out.